Yes, sir, I did. I went in as usual. To dust, sir. We dust all the rooms every day. And then I took back his 2 clean shirts as well.
Had the bed been slept in?
No, sir.
What about the bathroom? Any towels been used?
Just a hand towel, sir. He must have washed his hands just before going off the day previous.
But there was nothing to suggest that he had come back to the room late the same night?
Oh, no, sir.
What about his clothes? Were they packed up in cases?
No, sir, they were hanging in the cupboard until Miss Gorringe asked for them to be moved because the room was needed for the new lady, and then I put them in the suitcase.
What about his little blue bag?
I beg your pardon, sir?
His BOAC bag. You must have seen that.
Oh, yes, that. Yes. At least, no. I mean, he'd taken that abroad with him.
Ah, but it didn't go abroad. So he must have left it behind. Or else he came back and left it with the other luggage.
Yes, yes, that's what I think. That I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry, sir.
That will be all, Rose.
Thank you, sir.
Well, they forgot to brief her about that, didn't they? Let's see if they've done any better with Henry.
So you served Canon Pennyfather yourself that morning, Henry?
Supervised the service. I like to keep an eye on our regulars.
And no doubt you exchange a few pleasantries with them.
I consider that part of my job, sir.
Did you converse with Canon Pennyfather?
Yes, sir. We had some discussion about his haddock, and that led on to the parable of the loaves and fishes.
But he said nothing that might indicate a change of plan?
No, sir.
I'm seeing an old missionary I met in Arizona, something like that.
Nothing remotely like that, sir. He told me he wouldn't be here the following morning, as he would be in Lucerne. He was a trifle disparaging about continental breakfasts.
Pendlebury's were absolutely right about this place. It just is old England. I feel as if any minute now, Edward VII will walk right out of those doors. Down there. Be careful with those gates.
Taxi, sir.
Oh, thank you. Police. I believe you put Canon Pennyfather in a taxi last Wednesday afternoon.
That's right, sir. He was going to his club.
Ah, excuse me, sir. Can I have a word with you? We've just had a call from the yard.
Three little maids who quite contrary come from a ladies' seminary. Bum, 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 bum. Three little maids who quite contrary come from a ladies' seminary. Bum, 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 bum. Three little maids who quite contrary come from a ladies' seminary. Three little maids from school.
It's no use, Inspector. I can't remember a thing.
You don't recall being hit by a car?
Afraid not.
Then what makes you think that you were knocked down?
Well, the couple who found me said so. Well, that's what they surmised. How else could I be lying in the road?
With your BOAC bag.
And you've no idea how you came to be in the area of Milton St. John?
Never heard of the blessed place.
Are you quite sure?
As sure as anyone can be in a state of concussion.
Just tell us, Canon, in your own good time, what was the last thing that you do recall?
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
What's that?
What?
You said something about a mirror.
Did I? Well, I can't think why. I'm sorry, you were asking...
The last thing you remember before waking in a strange bed in Milton St. John.
I remember taking a taxi to the air terminal.
And after that?
Not a sausage.
Not, for instance, travelling on a train?
Why should I take a train when I'm supposed to be flying?
An acquaintance of yours, a Mrs. Pierce. She sings in the church choir, I believe.
Oh, I remember her.
She reported seeing you on a train in the early hours of Thursday morning.
A train? What train?
The Irish Mail.
You say she saw him in the Irish Mail train? This Mrs. Pierce?
Seems she woke up when the train stopped, looked out into the corridor, rather as you had done earlier, and saw Canon Pennyfather climbing into the compartment.
She saw him climbing into the train?
Oh, she presumed that he'd climbed down onto the line previously to see what was going on.
And she was sure it was Canon Pennyfather?
Positive. Well, it has a very distinctive appearance.
Yes, like Justice Ludgrove. Well, that was the name of the judge who was implicated in the bank robbery, wasn't it?
There are no flies on you, Miss Marple.
Oh, how very kind of you to say so. And Canon Pennyfather himself remembers nothing about being in the train?
Nothing whatever. There was one thing, though. He muttered something about a mirror. Didn't seem to know why. It sounded like that rhyme from one of those fairy stories. Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Who is the fairest of them all? Yes, Snow White, the wicked stepmother. Yes, mothers and daughters, they do seem to keep cropping up, don't they?
This chap who's courting Lady Sedgwick and her daughter, what's he like?
Oh, about 30-ish. Handsome. But his face is a bad face, predatory. And if Basil Twisk's record is anything to go by.
Basil Twisk?
Yes, he sold insurance in Much Benham, and I'm afraid that's not all he sold. He drove a racing car, too.
Does this chap drive a racing car?
Yes, a red Jaguar. I saw it in the park the other day.
Don't happen to remember the number.
FAN2266.
You're sure?
Yes, indeed. Because it made me think of my cousin Fanny, who had a stutter. 2266.
Ah.
I've seen it round here, too. I saw it earlier today.
Really?
Do you think he has any connection with the robberies?
Do you, Miss Marple?
Isn't everything to do with Bertram's connected? Oh, I feel so worried about that poor girl. I have a dreadful sense of foreboding. You see, Chief Inspector, in the case of Basil Twisk, there was a death. Someone tried to kill me. Someone. God. They shot at me. If it hadn't been for him. Is he badly hurt?
Afraid he's at it.
What's happened? I thought I heard shots.
I'm sure it was nothing, Lady Sedgwick. Just a car backfiring, I think.
Elvira?
Oh, Mother!
There's been an attempt on her life.
I was on my way here. And suddenly there was a shot. A bullet went past my cheek. And then he came running down the road. And the commissionaire. And he shoved me behind him. And then there was another shot.
Mick Gorman.
Did you see whoever it was?
No. He rushed past me into the fog and he must have been hiding in the area below.
Do you know why anybody should want to kill you, Miss Black?
No. But it isn't the first time they've tried. Day, something else happened. I was on the tube and there were lots of people on the platform. Someone tried to push me onto the rails.
Darling, you were imagining things.
Well, I told myself so at the time, but after this evening...
Steady.
I understood that you were living in Kent. What were you doing up in London?
I came up to meet my friend Bridget Sotheby for lunch. And then we went to a Sunday concert at the festival hall. It was foggy when we came out, but not too thick. So I started to drive home. Then it got worse. I thought I'd better not take any risks as it was Cousin Mildred's car. So I wasn't far from here, so I parked and thought I might find a room at Bertram's. I hoped I might see Mother again, too.
Did you see or hear anyone near you?
I heard footsteps behind me, but there are a lot of people walking about in London.
Yes?
Excuse me, sir, I thought you'd want to see this.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about this. Miss Blake, do you know anybody of the name of Ladislaus Malinowski?
The racing car driver? No, I don't.
You do, of course, Lady Sedgwick.
Oh, Lord, yes. We've been chums for years. Why?
I see.
So I drove this feeble-minded clergyman from Bertram's to Bedhampton, and the two of us then proceeded to waylay the Irish mail train.